And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, all about helping you understand your buying decisions and making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may need it, 813-750-0550. That's our Consumer Advocate Hotline, 750-0550, right here in Tampa Bay. And consumerqb.com. Plethora of information available at consumerqb.com. Find all of our listings. And make sure you hit us up on the hotline here, and we'd love to talk to you.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
A couple of hot listings here. As you know, the owner of the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams, we'll let you know about a hot listing that we've got here in Tampa Bay, 4207 South Del Mabry. This is Del Mabry Highway in Tampa Bay, South Tampa, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool in Tampa Bay, under $250,000. And it's a great opportunity right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And this segment is brought to you by the Golf Cart Depot, one of our show partners, longtime friends of the program. It's also known as Discovery Golf Carts. Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay, Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, Icon electric vehicles, both pre-owned and remanufactured, available. And check this out. Right now during the pandemic, they're going to actually deliver the golf cart to you just to test drive it. How cool is that? Golf Cart Depot, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Test drive one today, 2 locations, Land O'Lakes and Clearwater, right off of US 19 in Clearwater. Golf Cart Depot, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got in studio. We're going to introduce our in studio guests, and we also have a call coming in. Captain Will Smith, back in studio, author and pilot, and looking at doing some big things. Welcome back.
Good to be here, Brandon. Good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
So as you well know, we had the books that I put out there, Falling from the Sky and Ditches to Riches, and there's a lot of good things happening with both books, but they're like on 2 different ends of the pendulum here. The one, Falling from the Sky, we've got a lot of good traction. People purchase it, pick it up, read it, and they can't put it down. I mean, I have people say 3 hours I was done because I kept on wanting to turn the pages.
Nice.
And through that, and because of that, I had some local producers that wanted to take a look at it, and they wrote a treatment, and now they want to, we got the ball moving in the right direction to make it either a movie or some type of series on my experience through the judicial system and through the prison system, the DOC itself.
Yeah.
So, which is a lot of people that talk to me and know me now, and I tell them a story, they just it's kind of that wow moment. You know, you have someone, they're like, holy cow, I can't believe you actually went through that and made it through.
Yeah.
This the second book, which is only total opposite end, is I was blessed to have the book Ditches to Riches that I wrote on coming out of prison. How do you regain your life?
Yeah.
How do you get back everything you lost? How do you get back your reputation? And that was picked up with the Florida Department of Corrections.
Nice.
They're putting it in the hands of all the inmates, either currently serving time or are getting ready to get out, and that's through their JPay program they have. The inmates get these little kind of like iPads, and they're able to use that part of their release program to help them understand on how to become a productive member of society once they're released.
Nice.
And end the recidivism rate. And I work with a couple of 501c3s here in the Tampa Bay area. One is helping ex-convicts when they come out, how to be productive. The other one is to end the recidivism rate by taking that money that's usually used to incarcerate them and redirect it and put it in a different area for them to be able to have housing when they get out.
Yeah,
so they
reform in that place.
Right.
And it seems like the Trump administration has done a lot in that space, but
Correct.
The media doesn't give them credit for that.
Yes, and that's correct. And it's catching, and no one has a perfect history. Everybody's always made a bad decision or done something stupid.
Right.
But some of these guys, they were young. They really didn't understand the totality,
Right.
and now they're getting a second chance.
Good stuff. Let's go to Clyde Smith here. We're going to go to the phones. Clyde Smith, General Manager, Bilmar Beach Resort, giving us that beach update. How you doing, Clyde?
Brandon, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure.
job.
Absolutely. Always good to get that update. And I got to tell you, it was just a great visit this past weekend. We thoroughly enjoyed our time down at the Bilmar Beach Resort. My wife and my daughter and one of her friends did it. They love going down that slide. They like to go down that slide out there, the huge slide. That's fun.
That is a fun right next door to us out there on the beach. And of course, we have the bicycles and the kayak and paddleboard that's part of the Bilmar experience. That's always fun. And hopefully you had time to have some breakfast over at Sloppy Joe's. That's one of the big new things that we added this summer is the breakfast on the beach right there on beachfront from 7 a.m. to 11 every day.
That's awesome. Yeah, we did have. I had one of the to go. I had the biscuits to go. We had to get back on the road and do some stuff on Sunday, but it was a great time. Had a great egg biscuit. It was wonderful. Now, when you look at the rooms, not all hotels can have. You're boasting. I think you have 90% of your rooms overlooking the waterfront. I mean, that's amazing.
It is. It's 90% of the 166 rooms face directly out to the water. 2/3 of those have a private balcony with chairs.
Yeah.
And in fact, those same 2/3 also even have a little kitchenette. So, if you're more comfortable eating in your room or on your balcony, we give you all the tools to do that. And 2/3 of those are all of our studio rooms. We have standard studio and premium studio. So that's always nice. And then, of course, we have our game room, the cafe. We converted over into that game room that's been super popular. We got Chris at the bar in there and people playing pool and darts and super family friendly also with ping pong and cornhole. So that's been a really great addition since, this we kind of reinvented ourselves over the summer.
Yeah.
And it's been going really great.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you have that huge beach. It's just an awesome beach. And you go out there and you got a couple chairs provided complimentary. I had a quick interaction with Tebow on the beach. And I said, yeah, we mentioned you sometimes on the show. He goes, what? You mentioned me? Oh, man, thank you.
He and his wife Leah are just the sweetest couple, and they treat guests down there like you're visiting their home. They're just he'll do anything to make you comfortable, and at the same time to keep you safe because they want to make sure when you're getting out on a paddleboard or something, you know what to do, and they're watching the weather all the time. So they're a great extension of our team here at the Bilmar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. When you look at the ability here, and I think more and more people are looking for these types of escapes. I know Freedom Boat Club has had a jump in their memberships for the boats, and you see how with the different pandemic, the different things happening with the Chinese virus, all these things happening. And then you look at the ability right here in our own backyard, Pinellas County, Bilmar Beach Resort, just a great escape. And I think you had mentioned at one point, a large percentage are Floridians coming over to enjoy.
Oh, right now it's more than 50% of our guests are right here from Florida. A lot of folks coming from Georgia, some from Alabama too. In fact, we just expanded our resident rate that's now a Florida and Georgia resident rate. There's one other. There's a special we're running now. Last time I was on the show, I talked about buy 2 nights, get 150% off. Well, school's back in now, so we've actually expanded that offer to buy 2 nights and you get a third night, whichever the least expensive night is complimentary now.
Very
so
good.
3 for the price of 2. It's great, and quite honestly, we just rolled that out last week, and it's been super busy. Don't need a special code. You just go right on our website, BilmarBeachResort.com. It brings up the best values, and that just pops right up. If it's a shorter stay, you might want to use the resident rate.
Yep.
And we also always have our first responders and healthcare rate. That's one of the very best discounts, especially if it's a shorter stay. But that third night free, that's pretty good value.
That's great. Absolutely.
People are enjoying it.
BilmarBeachResort.com, and you can call as well the front desk. But the preferred method is to hit the website. Best rates there. Don't go to one of those search engines. You don't actually get the best deal. Clyde Smith, always
really
a pleasure, my friend.
It doesn't reflect us as well as our regular website. We just had a new website put on there.
It looks great.
With virtual working and virtual schooling, we've even upgraded that. We just went up to a full gigabyte of internet, and every single room has its own access points.
That's awesome. Clyde, I'm sorry we're coming into a hard break here, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Clyde Smith, General Manager, Bilmar Beach Resort. Check him out online. And when we come back, Captain Will Smith in studio. Stay with us.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, top 1% real estate team here in Tampa Bay, ranked in the top 1% of all realtors. Giving a shout out to Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Huge shout out to Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. It's a woman-owned business. She operates it with her family, and it's a family-owned, again, another local area business owner supporting our show. And if you could please support Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning, we would greatly appreciate that. Follow them on Facebook at Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. And we really appreciate you supporting our show partners. Uptick in calls lately. Thanks so much for all the calls and texts to our hotline, 813-750-0550. That's 750-0550. That's our new hotline number. Save that number in your phone. At some point, you can connect to 50-plus show partners, 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, a couple of hot properties. 2528 Appaloosa. This is a Palm Harbor beauty, a large home, estate-style home with the pool right here in a hot neighborhood. It's Palm Harbor, Florida, Pinellas County. 2528 Appaloosa Trail, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathroom, 3-car garage pool home right here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, let's jump into it. We got Doug Levi calling in on the phone, Strategic Insurance. He's our expert contributor for all things insurance. Doug, welcome to the show.
Brandon, always good to be in. Toss me the ball, brother.
That's right. So when we look at, I think topical right now is ways that people are always looking for ways to save money. And I always say, hey, if you got a prior title policy, if you have that title policy, sometimes that can save you money on the title insurance when you're doing a transaction. Flood insurance, homeowners insurance, there's some similar steps that we can take to help also the transaction run smoothly.
Yeah, that's a big one. So we're going through right now where we're working with a buyer who's buying a nice home up in Tarpon, and if you look at their elevation, they're below elevation. So again, we've talked about it on the show a little bit, but just real simple. If you think about Army Corps of Engineers, they come in and they'll say, hey, base flood in this area is, let's say, 15 feet, meaning your home has to sit at 15 feet or higher. If your home's below that, you're at higher risk for flood, right? So this home sits at, let's say, 10 feet. So technically they're 5 feet below. So under the new guidelines, that flood insurance is pretty expensive. If we can get, and we're still working with we're working with the buyer, the buyer's agent, et cetera. If we can get a copy of the seller's flood, what they already have right now, they may be grandfathered in, and we may be able to keep them at a lower rate. So it's super important that the listeners out there just understand, working with an agency like ours, we're TampaBayInsurance.com. We've got all of the little bells and whistles, all the levers to pull to try and find people best coverage and best rates out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about, doing the best thing for the client, that fiduciary capacity. You look at helping people with their largest assets in many cases, and maybe not the primary. There might be investment opportunities there. Airbnb.
Absolutely.
You're seeing some people making money in Airbnbs out there?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, we do quite a bit of investor-owned properties, rentals, secondaries, Airbnb, VRBO is really big. We've seen that come back in a big way since, March, April with COVID. We've talked in the past on the show as well, Brandon, that people really need a special type of coverage for that. If they're doing these real short-term rentals, your regular homeowner is definitely not going to cover you. And even a regular, what we would call rental dwelling policy is not going to cover you. In other words, if we went back in time, let's say 5 years, 10 years, something like that, the concept of, hey, I buy a piece of real estate, I rent it out, that's not new. That's been around forever. But normally the carriers are under the assumption that those are going to be annual leases, right? Like traditionally I have a home, I rent it out, I'm on an annual lease. And those are still definitely out there. Where people can get in trouble is if they're renting it and doing it short-term rentals, which most of the carriers will find more than 3 times in a month, where there's more than 3 renters in a month. Right. There's all sorts of exclusions on that. And so your normal policy doesn't cover you.
Yeah, so if somebody's renting your place, Yep. Sorry to jump in there. If somebody's renting your place as an Airbnb and you're operating it as a commercial type of property, not necessarily zone commercial, et cetera, I'm talking about the way that the assets being utilized to produce income for you and your family. If you're in that position and you don't have a policy in place and somebody gets hurt, they fall into the pool, they bump their head, what do you think a good trial attorney is going to do?
Oh man, there's no doubt. It's Katie bar the door. And again, always liking to bring in real world stuff to help the listeners out there. I had a call late last night from a client, great guy, friend, who had someone slipped and fell at his property a year ago, and they broke their face. I mean, it was a bad fall, and the person's a friend. Okay, so I'm just hearing about this now because they didn't want to file anything. They've been trying to work through their medical insurance, on and on. And now it's getting to the point where bills are really adding up. There's dental surgery that was involved, and it really was a true accident. Like, it sounds like it was, just a really unfortunate kind of a weird situation of how this person fell. But where I'm going with it, the point is, and I told my client this last night, is really we should have known about that a year ago, right? So it's really important that when you have something happen at your property, you really need to let your company know and your agent know so that they can get in ahead of the game and not behind the game. Now, I'm not saying that this client's going to have any issues, et cetera, but all the insurance policies out there will tell you need to report any claim or something that could lead to a claim in a timely manner. Now, that's a little bit of a gray area for sure, that timely manner thing, but you definitely want to be on the front end, not the back end. So that's just important for clients to know out there. We have some people that maybe just don't think about it. Or again, these guys, they were just trying to work it out themselves. They're really trying to do the right thing,
right?
Which is interesting, right? They're really, it's not like everybody's armed up and attorneys. They're just trying to work it out between friends. It was an unfortunate event.
Sure.
But so it's just, it's important that people understand that.
Life happens. We're talking with TampaBayInsurance.com. Doug Levi here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, TampaBayInsurance.com. One of the best URLs in the business, by the way. I got to say, Doug, that's a good one. Now, when we look at these situations of families, kids coming over, you want to entertain people. It's one of when you're married and you're hanging out. That's one of the favorite things. People like to entertain other couples, other family, got kids. I heard of one as well where you had one of these big, huge, overblown backyard slides, and the gentleman. Was a wealthy or a little bit better to do. He had some money or whatever. Kid falls, he gets sued. Very similar situation right here in Tampa Bay, friends of a friend type situation. So that kind of thing does happen. Can you have some type of specific policy? And then I wonder on the attorney side, is there a document that you can have signed? Does that actually work?
Yeah. So I definitely believe in liability umbrellas. I have one myself. Your typical liability umbrella will go over your home. It will go over your autos. It can also go over other assets. Maybe you have a boat. Maybe you have jet skis. Maybe you have rental property. And the more little toys you have, the more exposure you have. They're normally fairly affordable. You're talking maybe, let's say, $300 to $500 a year for $1 million in coverage. So I think that's always a good layer of protection for people that are out there that have assets to protect. Now, you just said, and we've got 3 kids under 6, Brandon, right? So to myself, so we're always at parties, or we've had them in our house where you've got the bouncy houses and all these sorts of things. And so, and things happen. Again, I'm certainly not an attorney. Won't give legal advice. I've never been to a party where I've had anybody ask me to sign a waiver. I don't know that I'd be real keen on that. It's like, hey, come on in, have a party with us. By the way, can you sign this liability waiver? You certainly could, in theory. I mean, what I've seen in my career practically over 18 years, I've been in this business 18 years, is that people can sue for anything, right? And while those waivers and additional contracts are always a good level of protection, it doesn't mean that someone still may not sue. So, and again, obviously I'm a little biased because I've seen it and I'm in the business, but that's where I believe that the insurance protection that you can get with doing the liability umbrella is one of your best strategies, because here's the big one. Will also cover cost of defense. And that in itself can be a huge unknown, right? Even if let's say with your friend or whatever you heard that, if they did nothing wrong, it went to jury and on and on and on, they acquit the guy in essence. They say, look, you did nothing wrong. It was just an accident. Think about those legal bills, right? You start, adding up an attorney at $400 or $500 an hour. that can add up real quick.
And
so
they
I think
bank on
the
that.
cost of defense.
They
No,
bank on
do.
that. They say, hey, I'm going to sue you for
There's no
100.
doubt.
Just settle. I'll settle for 35 right now. We don't have to go
There's
through it.
no doubt. I've known it, a lot of attorneys, a lot of it's all negotiations and whatnot. So, but yeah, I think as consumers out there, and I know we do a lot, and just talking about protection in lots of ways, whether that's with Thomas from the Florida firearm range, et cetera. This
Yep.
is protecting yourself and your family.
That's right.
In my opinion, just with very practical things that we don't think about, right, or we don't want to think about, but can happen. Same thing. It's like, hey, if you got a trampoline in your backyard, you need to understand: is your homeowners even going to cover that?
Yeah.
A lot of times, the trampolines are excluded.
Yep.
And we have a handful of carriers that will cover it, but they got to understand it, right? So things like that, where you may not even think and say, oh yeah, I just bought a trampoline for my kids and we're just having fun, and then Sally comes over and she falls and knocks out all of her teeth.
Yep.
That's real world stuff.
Let's do this, Doug. Let's offer your text review, because you'll sit and review any client's personal policies, business policies. You'll do a review for our listeners.
We're happy to do it, and Brandon and I, we love doing it. I still enjoy just working with clients and just kind of understanding where they're at and seeing what we can do to help them. So yeah, please throw it out there.
Yeah, get the flood looked at, get the wind policy. Maybe you might need this liability umbrella, and then also you look at, as you talked about earlier before. I remember it was March or April. People's businesses are you're paying insurance based on how much money you're expected to make that year. So if you're not making,
that's right,
because of COVID, all these different issues, you got to reach out to Doug Levi, best in the business, TampaBayInsurance.com. Just simply text the word review or text insurance review to our hotline, 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. That's our hotline number. Text review to that line, and we'll put you in touch with Doug and his team, and they do a great job as far as customer service and everything.
Yeah, awesome. We appreciate that. And I will say, Brandon, we're seeing more and more calls just off the show. In fact, we've had some people, and on our website, that Tampa Bay Insurance live chat with us.
Nice.
We've had some of the callers from the Consumer QB, heard the URL, went to the website, and have been live chatting and saying, hey, I need help with this, that we've, reviewed different things. So we just, we want to do what we can to make it easy in the insurance.
We got some great
realm.
listeners out there. These are patriots to the country. These are people that understand what's going on today. Leading into our story today, not on our watch, Tim Tebow is on a mission to end human trafficking. I mean, these are great people that are listening to this show, supporting this program.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Hewitt, Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, all the greats, Gorka, all the great that we have here on the show. Joe Pippin, one of our partners. So, Doug Levi, always a pleasure, my friend.
You got it, Brandon. Hey, have a great day.
Take care. You as well.
Bye.
All right. So coming up, we got Captain Will Smith, author, pilot, and a lot of good stuff happening with his story. We're going to talk about that. Also, more from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of the day. As we just mentioned, we cannot stand silently and passively watch as evil rages on. Tim Tebow. We'll be right back here. Consumer Quarterback Show. It's in ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we would love to talk to you. We've got a great team, 12 team members on our team, and we are very, when it comes to Keller Williams, one of the things that's a given, most people understand and they recognize in the industry, not only the #1 real estate company in terms of volume and sales, but also the best educated, trained, and the best technology, the best agents overall, if you look at everything that we bring to the table as a Keller Williams. So we are recruiting as well. We're hiring to our team, looking for agents that want to grow their business and want to utilize our platforms that we've developed here in Tampa Bay. So reach out. We'd love to talk to you. Of course, anything that you hear on the show, we had Clyde Smith on the show, Doug Levi coming up. We got Captain Will Smith here. Reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550 is our hotline. You can call or text that line, consumerqb.com as well, consumer QB, or 813-750-0550. And giving a shout out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, Brothers Easy Moving. And right now they're offering a virtual walkthrough where it's super simple. You either connect via a video meeting, you do a virtual walkthrough, show them all your different belongings. They can do local, long distance, packing, junk hauling, and office moves. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got a brand new listing out here in Riverview. This is out in East Hillsborough County, commercial opportunity, 8001 US 301 South in Riverview. Now, this is two commercial buildings for the price of one. The building up front on the frontage has a large or medium-sized restaurant, okay? Been operating as Riverview Sandwich Shop for many years, I think about 40 years. So many of you might know that, if your listeners might know that corner. It's a busy intersection. Also, there's a separate building in the back that's rented out to a church right now. So it's rented out, and it's a great opportunity. This is a great asset, commercial buildings already operating, and just a great opportunity to own right here in Tampa Bay. As well as we've got 12208 Four Oaks Road in Tampa. Now, this is a development opportunity. Builders and developers would love for you to let them know about this. If you've got a friend in real estate, tell them about this property, because it's 5 acres and it's zoned R9. That means you can put close to 40 units on this property at 12208 Four Oaks Road in Tampa. It's in Carrollwood. It's close to Del Mabry, close to Forest Hills. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, we got Captain Will Smith in the house here. He's an author, he's a pilot, and looking to be a movie producer, executive. A lot of things happening, man. A lot of good stuff. I think it's such a great story. Not many people can say, here's my story. Ditches to riches, falling from the sky, got a judge thrown off the bench because, crazy stuff happening.
Everything happens for a reason. I tell people, if this event did not happen to me in my life, I wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
So it's God works in mysterious ways. I've always heard that growing up, and this was the most mysterious way I've ever seen him work.
Yeah.
But it's allowed me to help out and help with others, help with 501c3s, help with people that are overcoming addiction, help with people that are coming out of incarceration. It's basically just helping them get their life back. So I was real excited with the opportunities that were presented to me, and I didn't really do that much to go out and create it. It just kind of morphed into it just by me going out and before COVID-19, our social gatherings here in the Tampa Bay area, and it picked up and it just gained its own energy, and I just kind of rolled with that. So now it's like I said about the DOC, that's very exciting. That's huge for me because I can build off that platform and go to other states and say, hey, let me be a part of your reentry program.
So DOC is
Department of Corrections.
Department of Corrections.
Yes. So the Florida Department of Corrections picked it up. They're going to have it in every one of their state facilities throughout the entire state of Florida. So that's huge for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is that going to be physical books or an ebook?
It's going to be an ebook because I guess they have something called, I think it's like PayJ right now. And they have little type iPads in prison, and they can download or it's JPay. It's JPay is what they put it through, and they download the books and educational material through the iPad.
Yeah.
And it's something I guess the inmates are issued, and then once they leave the facility, then they'll have a PDF copy of that for them to carry with them.
Yeah, it's a shame. You look at the Department of Corrections and the whole system, and you've seen different documentaries about how it's based on money and the kickbacks and the deal. But I think there's been some solid movement, and you would probably have more insights to that. But we need to develop and grow and look at how can we help these folks get rehabilitated. If they're first and foremost, a lot of them, if it's a drug dependency, that's what needs to be addressed first. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the mental side, but then also there's an economic side, and it goes back to our education of too many times it's drilled into them. Let's go to some Ivy League college. Let's go to a college. Well, we need a lot of skilled workers. We need trades. We need plumbers. We need electricians, masons. We need all these different trades as well. So I think it's a combination of some of those factors and probably some more I didn't mention.
Well, I mean, the Department of Correction, whether it's in the state of Florida or any other state, it's an enterprise.
Yeah.
And it needs inmates to survive.
Exactly.
Because they are not just only state funded, they're also federally funded as well. So if you don't have inmates, then you're not getting the funding.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we have to kind of look at. Now, there's some private prisons out there that are they function under their own. But you're right. When these guys are getting out, that Ivy League education sometimes imprisons those people in debt as soon as they get out of college.
And that's the debate.
Exactly.
Right now.
And the people that are getting out, they've learned some type of trade in prison.
Yep.
Their mentality has changed. When you lock someone away for 25, 30, 40 years, they're going to be a different person when they come out. And we call that being institutionalized. So
what does that person come out more cautious, more...
Well, they come out more cautious, more paranoid.
Yeah.
They think no one's going to give them a chance.
Yeah.
So we have to change their thinking habits where they're not always watching their back. I remember when I was released, I would sit in the back of the restaurant facing the front door.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was used to doing.
Yeah.
And I was in there for a very short period of time. Some of these guys are in there for a whole heck of a lot more time than I was.
Yeah.
And when you're used to that environment of being caged up, having to ask permission, to even go to the bathroom or ask permission to take a shower, you continue to do that in the real world, even in the business world. And they don't understand. They don't have to do that anymore.
Now, we're talking with Captain Will Smith here. He's an author of 2 books, a pilot, does a lot of good in the community, working with the Department of Corrections in the state of Florida and other 50C3s here in Tampa Bay. Now, and we don't have to go there if you don't want, but you were almost killed at one point when you had your stay, right? I mean,
I was attacked in the bathroom, and I still have a physical scar from that defensive wound.
Wow.
And one of the things, and you see on all these documentaries, HBO, Cinemax, stitches get snitches. It's true.
Yeah.
So I had to come out and say, I slipped and fell in the bathroom, and and sliced your arm open. I was like, it must have been some rusty floor drain or something.
Right.
But by doing that, when I came out, that's how I started gaining respect.
Right.
Because in prison it's about respect.
Yeah.
You can either be a predator, or you can be the prey, or you can have some respect in there.
It's a currency.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And once you start gaining that respect, it makes your life just a little bit easier. But when I first walked in there, I was definitely a character of prey because I had a lot of people coming after me.
Yeah, it was like basically you had this clan over here wanting to befriend you.
Right.
This clan, you had, so you were kind of thrown into a situation that the average person, if they don't have the wherewithal, the grit, whatever you want to call it, they're going to cave. They're going to end up become a statistic and killed or whatever the situation might be.
And I saw that happen, and I looked at myself and said, okay, I need to become an asset.
Yeah.
How do I neutralize these two different groups of people?
Yeah.
I need to become an asset. I need to find something that they all need. And I did that.
Yeah.
And by becoming that asset, I was allowed to get them things that you couldn't normally purchase in the canteen.
Right.
But that was through not only respect from the inmates, but also respect from the officers that helped me out with that.
So this is part of two book series. So we're working together. We're going to help you try to get a movie deal, limited series or series. So when you look at Falling from the Sky is the book, Ditches to Riches, we're going to give away a few copies of these books. Is that cool? We give away.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's do 5 per segment. So the first 5 this segment, we'll do 5 more next segment. Text the word book, text free book to 813-750-0550 and find out about this story that Captain Will Smith endured. He went through, and also it ends with my favorite part is the judge getting thrown off the bench. But we'll save that for the next segment. We'll talk a little deeper about that. Also, commercial travel versus regular travel.
Oh, yeah.
You know, private travel right now is such a big thing. So we're going to talk about that with Captain Will Smith here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, I love it. Tim Tebow stepping up. Tim Tebow, the great Florida Gator, Heisman Trophy winner, didn't fare too well in the NFL. I don't think he really got a great shake here. But if you look, great story coming up, not on our watch. Tim Tebow is on a mission to end human trafficking. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Say hello to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. Talking about the Myers cocktail and other vitamin infusion drips directly injected into your bloodstream. Cancer prevention, cell regenerator, hydration, inflammation, all these are awesome from Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. They too will also deliver to you. So if you're at home, at the work, they will come to you and deliver a vitamin infusion drip. Going to make you feel good, and also is going to help you resist boost your immunity, in other words. Also, a couple of hot properties here in Tampa Bay. We've got a property at, let's talk about 4209 Preserve Place. This is in Landsbrook. It's a golfing community right here in Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs area, 4209 Preserve Place. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage condo with vaulted ceilings on a waterfront as well. All of our real estate listings can be found at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And every day we're going to tell you something positive here in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
Not on our watch. Tim Tebow is on a mission to end human trafficking. For his 33rd birthday, Tim Tebow is asking for help in fighting against human trafficking. The Tim Tebow Foundation has been actively fighting against human trafficking since 2013 for safety and security of both the victims and the rescue organizations operating around the world. They've kept their involvement under radar, but now he's going public. Quote, "We cannot stand silently and passively watch as evil rages on." Tim Tebow said, "No more will we allow boys and girls, many of whom are just children, to be bought and sold as if they're just products for someone else's personal gain." Tim said he first learned about the reality of human trafficking when his father purchased 4 young girls overseas. Quote, "I was in my mid-20s at the time and completely unaware such transaction was even possible. Surely I had misunderstood him." He said, "People buy groceries, shoes, annual passes to Disney World. They don't buy other people." But I heard him correctly. My dad had opened up his wallet and bought as many girls as he could with the cash he had on hand. With no safe home to take the girls to, the Tim Tebow Foundation built them one. Tim says countless more human trafficking victims have been rescued by his foundation since that day. And, quote, "Meeting some of the survivors in person has been more of a privilege, more than just a privilege. It's literally been life-changing," he said. It's an estimated that more than 40 million victims are trapped in human trafficking today, generating $100 billion annually. And if you'd like more information about Tim's mission, visit timtebowfoundation.org. timtebowfoundation.org. Great quarterback, doing greater things now for the better of human society.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hearing more about this pedophilia stuff, and it's just pure evil.
It is. It's mind blowing.
It really is.
How deep this thing goes.
It is. We'll see.
Yeah.
There might be some stings coming out before the election.
Oh, yeah.
But, it feels like we talk about it, but it doesn't happen. But hopefully it does. We'll see. So we got Captain Will Smith in studio, author, pilot, 2 different books, Falling from the Sky, Ditches to Riches, of course, available online where you buy your books and check them out. Commercial travel versus private travel, because now part of your Ditches to Riches story is you're flying around some very wealthy people. You're making great income yourself as a successful private pilot, right?
Correct. Yeah. I'm a contract pilot. I used to work for the airlines, and I do some charter stuff. So with Walkabout Air is one of the charter companies that I fly for. And the other one is Trip. And so these are 2 companies that I fly for as a contract pilot, but the majority of my work is something we call private air travel.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've noticed that more and more people are leaning towards private air travel versus commercial because it's the fear. And I really believe the media has put so much fear into people that it's not that commercial travel is unsafe. They're just scared because they're afraid they're sitting in an aircraft that they will get a virus or get a cold or get sick or something like that. So we were doing a talking about the American Airlines is about 12,000 flight attendants. Well, only 100 of them tested positive. It's a very small percentage of out of 12,000.
Is that air clean pretty good in there?
It is. It's filtered. Yes, it's filtered. Yeah. It's recirculated air because you're in a pressurized capsule. However, it goes through a lot of environmental systems before it comes back to you.
Good to hear.
So it's completely filtered out. But still, that's not enough. People want to get on their own plane privately with the people that they're traveling with, and they don't want to be exposed. They don't want to go through the airports. They don't want to go through the waiting lines. They don't want to sit with someone for an hour and a half, 2 hours on the flight, not knowing who that person exposed themselves to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So them isolating themselves to a group and picking up private air travel, that's just the way everybody's going right now.
Get that $100 cheeseburger from Key West.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I did that a couple of weeks ago.
I like it. Will Smith Aviation is the company, willsmithaviation.com. And Captain Will Smith in studio. All right, let's go back to your story. Interesting story. You were in jail, wrongfully imprisoned. Your attorneys were fighting for you. You had good people on the outside helping you. Walk us through the appeal process and then what happened.
Well, it was very interesting how many different parts there was. This started back in 9/11, so there was a lot. They asked, my worst year was 2001. 9/11, was furloughed, got a divorce, and then was accused of this. And it was stretched out for a couple of years. I had to hire my own private investigator.
Wow.
Because the state would not do any investigation, would not listen to any of my witnesses. After that investigator did his part, he had a tragic end to his life to where he couldn't even show up to the court hearing, which was kind of like one thing after another. And then I get put in front of this judge that's had more complaints filed against her than I think some of the people that came before her.
Wow.
And, she was just a train wreck too. Well, I was on the back of that train watching it go off the cliff, and there was nothing I could do.
Wow.
We started the appeal process, but the way the law works is you have to ask the sentencing judge to give you that appeal. And of course, that judge is going to deny everything, denied bond, denied my appeal. And so we had to take it to the higher courts. And finally, after 26 months, I was released. But while that 26 months that I was sitting in prison, I had to fight for my freedom. I had to fight for my life. I had to fight for my insanity, and I had to fight for my manhood.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like sleeping with one eye closed.
Yeah.
They don't really portray it a lot in documentaries that you see on TV, but what I went through was worse than in a horror show. It was the worst nightmare that you could possibly imagine, because you never know one day from the next when somebody might come up and put a shank in your side.
I can only imagine.
It's just you're always watching your back. You can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has an intention, and their intention is survival.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those things that I made it through. We had the judge eventually. We started a website and had her removed from the bench. It went to the Supreme Court justices. The Supreme Court justices looked at her record and said, "Hey, you're out of here."
Wow.
They told her she could no longer practice law. She could no longer run for an elected official. And to have an elected official thrown off of her bench was, I was told that never happens. And my case set a precedent on that, because she was actually removed. And then I had to rebuild after that. And
Powerful story.
I was completely broke. And then that's where the second part of the story comes. When you're going through there, just fighting for your life tooth and nail.
Yeah.
You can't get any rest. It's because you don't know who's going to be standing over you when you wake up.
Yeah. And you're fighting for your life. You're fighting for, as you mentioned, your manhood, all that, all at once. And due to a corrupt judge that was in a position of power, which you had no control of, you lost. So it sounds like an interesting story. Now, that is going to be the Falling from the Sky.
Correct.
So a lot of that's going to be detailed in Falling from the Sky, Captain Will Smith, also Will Smith Aviation. Falling from the Sky also has Ditches to Riches, and that's the next part of it, coming from overcoming that adversity, Will, and moving into the position that you are today, six-figure earner.
Correct. And that was one of probably the hardest challenges, because when you get out of an incarceration, even in my instance, since when I was ultimately vindicated, people still, it shows up on your background, and they look at you and they slam the door in your face.
Right.
And it's like every time I went to do something, every time I went somewhere, I had the door slammed in my face.
Oh, man.
So I got to the point, it's like, you know what, if I can't find a job, I'll make a job.
Yeah.
So I just started my own business. I did whatever I had to do. I was doing sales. I started a little lawn care company. I eventually started a pest control company. I did termite repair. I started a little company where I'd go into places that had termite damage, because I did have a skill set, a background in construction. So I was able to use that. And that's what I preach to everybody. Don't just focus on one skill set, have several, because if that one skill set fails, you have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
So you always want to be, as a person and growing and surviving, to be able to fall back on something. You might not want to, but I didn't want to go into sales and mow lawns, but by doing that, now I'm flying jets again.
Well, that's your number one thing. When people say, what is your most valuable asset? Oh, my car, my watch, my house, my boat. No. It's your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Your ability to fight where you stand right here at age, whatever you're at. That's your most valuable piece of the pie.
Yep. I mean, you yourself, your person, your attitude is your most valuable asset.
Let's give out 5 more books. 813-750-0550. Falling from the Sky or Ditches to Riches. You pick which you'd like. 813-750-0550. First 5 listeners, we're going to send you a copy of Captain Will Smith book, and it's going to be an awesome read. They're going to enjoy it. Got about 20 seconds. Parting words of wisdom.
Always, no matter what life throws at you, never give up on yourself. Because what I find is some people, they just get so down, they give up on themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like that old saying, I am somebody. Yeah. And you need to strive and persevere. Yep. Because if you let other people live in your head rent free,
that's right,
that is going to be your demise.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. Got the 2 books offer out there as well. Hey, another great show. Thanks to all of our team, our producers, our guests, our listeners, our viewers. And we always end the show by saying we want you to please go out there and do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time